More than a that, more than a that.
Join the More Than a Dad family by following us on Instagram, subscribing to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to join our Facebook group for daily questions, motivation, dad jokes, and new dad tips. If you enjoy our podcast, please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Be sure to like, comment, and share our content with other parents. Last but not least, make sure you check out our new merch. The link is in the bio of our Instagram as well as the description of this YouTube video. We are truly grateful and thanks for supporting More Than a Dad. Welcome to More Than a Dad podcast. I'm your host, Lou Mobley. I'm joined by the coolest guy on earth, Dre Moore.
What's good?
And I'm joined by my best friend in the whole world. You know what I mean? My best man to my wedding, Sandbox. 2 peas in the pie. What's in the speech? All that, man. We joined by my dog, Kadeem, man. Dean, what's up, baby?
Nah, man, I'm chilling, man. I'm good.
What's up,
it's
bro?
good to be here with gang and all that, man. What's up, baby? You alright?
No, man, we always start off with how's dad life?
Dad life is interesting. You know, just dealing with the, you know, my daughter's older now. My oldest just had a birthday on February 3rd. So 8 and 7 now. And just dealing with the different personalities that come with raising 2 little girls. You dig what I'm saying? Like it's they all over the place, bouncing all over the place. Like I deal with them acting up in school and all that. It's a lot. So it's interesting.
No, so speak a little bit about that, you know, the different personalities between your 2 daughters.
All right, well, Aubrey, my oldest, the 8-year-old, she's a girly girl. When I mean, like, she called me one day when she was about 6, she was 5, in tears, like, Daddy, look at my hair, it's a mess. Like, she really, like, voiced like she didn't want to get up and go to school because her hair was a mess. You get what I'm saying? So if you can kind of gauge that, she's a girl.
Right.
And Ava, my youngest, quote unquote, she's 7. She's my boy, the boy that I always wanted. You get what I'm saying?
Don't do her like that.
No, but she's more physical. She's rough. Like she wanna play with the boys. She wanna be rough and wrestle. And you know, we had her in boxing. She was like lit in boxing. She know how to throw a punch, like a good, like a nice little 1-2. You feel what I'm saying? So she don't even want to play with dolls like that. She want to play with the dinosaurs and the Tonka trucks, and she want to build. She barely want to put on, you know, skirts and stuff like that. So, you know, she a little bit low. She more low maintenance than my Aubrey.
So, like, is that like, let's just talk about it. You have hood twins.
Yeah.
Right. Right. So let's just talk about it. You think that has to do with the 2 households, or?
I don't know, because I can't say that because her mom Ava's mom not a tomboy. She's a girly girl. So I think it's based solely based on her personality. It don't got nothing to do with the environments.
That's just how she wired.
Yeah, that's just how she wired. And, you know, you can speak to Aubrey mom. She's a girl.
Yeah, right.
She's a girl. So Aubrey probably picked that up from her mom, but I don't know where Ava get the whole want to be in a mix and rumble from, like, you know, I don't know where she get that from, but.
No, Dre want to know. We want to know your experience with having hood twins, man. It's becoming a theme a little bit on our show.
You know,
Not one of my.
You really like the first person I knew. It's crazy because like I I ain't gonna lie. When I found out, I was disappointed. I mean,
that's new.
I would
You
keep
was
it.
disappointed in me, bro.
Yeah, because I feel like y'all know, I was the first one out of the group with kids, so I did all of the BS
Right.
that we all went through. Like everybody know what's well documented that I went through, and I feel like I had a lot of talks with y'all about being selective about having kids and doing all this stuff, and for you to just do
And I
it
took
twice
it times
at
two.
the same time,
know.
I was like, damn, bro, drawing. I don't know how he about to get out of this.
Yeah, it was crazy. So, you know, I was 21. I was in my senior year at Temple, and I was dealing with Ava. I'm just gonna call her Tiffany. I was dealing with Tiffany, and I wound up stepping out. I met Tiffany in my the winter of my senior year. Up until that point, we was only together for 5 months, and I wound up stepping out on Tiffany with my high school sweetheart, Catrice, and within the same time, they both got.
We didn't ask for the biologically, the scientific breakdown.
Like-
It was that one little step out, and
So like, how was it was this thing amongst them? Like, how was they handling it?
it wasn't they didn't get a chance to I kept it away from everybody
Until they was
I didn't even tell my mom until they were both like 6-7 months apiece. I didn't tell my family, like my mom didn't know, or my brothers. This was new news to everyone. You dig what I'm saying? They found out after Aubrey was here. That's when they both, I don't know, I forgot how they found out, but you can kind of, you can kind of tell how things was going if they, found out about a new baby after
that's a fact, cuz.
a year.
Obviously, it's not your brightest hour.
No, it's not.
I was disappointed. I'm like, man, bro's still in college. He don't even have no job.
Yeah, like, but that dynamic was crazy. Like, I'm not gonna lie, bro. If we just gonna keep it a bean,
Keep
like,
it a buck, bro.
I'm just gonna be real. I didn't want my daughters. Like, I didn't want no babies. Like,
Listen, I can attest to that.
I did. You
cuz.
get what I'm saying?
You ain't
So-
alone in that.
So, dealing with that new idea of me going from no kids to two in
kids.
one shot was crazy. Then the dynamic of how I'm going to take care of these
That's a fact.
2 kids, and I don't even have a job. Like, I can't even
Take care of myself.
let alone babies. You dig what I'm saying? It was crazy. Like, that dynamic was wow, but somehow we managed to
So I'm
get
proud
through,
of you,
to get
cuz.
through, man. Yeah, I came a long way since then, man.
Disappointment to the proud.
Yeah, already.
No, just speak about that time. Like you said, you couldn't even figure out how you was gonna take care of yourself. So what kind of like mindset, like what did that do to you mentally, preparing to be a dad of 2?
Well, as you can attest, Lou, while Tiffany was pregnant, I spent most of my days on your couch. Like, I spent most of my nights on your couch. I would take her car. I ain't have nowhere to live. I was staying with my mom, but I didn't have no own part of my own. I was staying with her. I was living with her. So most nights, I didn't even probably realize that I probably was depressed around the time, but all I knew was that I just couldn't be there mentally. Like, I couldn't be around her. I even told her at one point, like, listen, I expressed to her that I didn't want to have, didn't want to have the baby. She said that she wanted it. I said, okay, cool. Listen, I ain't even about to I ain't even about to argue about it, because I know where you about to go. Mind you, I previously already had this conversation with Aubrey mom, Catrice, and I already seen where that took me. I had a whole, I guess, round table talk with her parents and her friends, and it didn't go my way. So I talked to Tiffany. I'm like, listen, don't want to have the baby. She said, I'm going to have it. I said, okay, listen, we don't even got to talk again. I don't want to hear nothing about it no more. Because I know that I'm going to be pissed. I know where it's going to go. So let's not even talk. Then I concluded, like I would be with her every day, and then I would take her car and come see you at night, and I would stay at your house on your couch until 5 o'clock in the morning, get up and go back home every day. So mentally, I was trying to avoid it. You get what I'm saying? I wasn't even trying to think about it. That shit
was going to disappear?
I don't know what I was thinking, bro, but I just knew that I felt comfortable being around my man who I knew, like, we ain't about to talk about nothing.
It's out of down. It's
play Call of Duty. We about to watch whatever's on the game and watch any basketball, football games coming on, and I was going to be lost until I had to go back to where I was at 5 o'clock in the morning.
That's funny that your tactics was like that, because it's crazy, because like the whole round table discussion thing is nuts.
Wild,
because
bro.
like I told you, like with Donnie, like the same thing when she was like, yo, I'm had this baby, I'm like, yo, you can't. So like I even went to her grandma. Like,
You try to co-horse her grandma.
you know, I'm gonna go talk to somebody that got rational thinking, man.
Did her girlfriend?
No, it was just me and her grandma.
Oh my God!
You
So
know, we were so young
chances.
then. Right, I was just me and her grandma. Her grandma was on my side.
He lost the face off to the grandma.
No, she was on my side. She was with it. She like, yeah, you right. It made all this sense. And then like, she said something to Donnie, and Donnie just was like, man, I don't even care what she talking about.
What?
Yeah, I'm like, yo, you gotta tell her she can't have a baby.
I don't even know how you lost that, because literally I crafted the perfect argument in my table talk. Whereas though nobody could fight me on anything that I said, bro. I mentioned going back to school.
But you still lost.
I mentioned we both. But my point is that nobody was on my side in this table talk. It was me versus Patrice's mom, stepdad, about 6 of her girlfriends, bro. I didn't have nobody on my side.
No, I had her grandma was cool. We cool to this day, but her grandma was on my side. Donnie just wasn't with it. She just was like, I'm not, you know what I'm saying? I'm not doing that. We having it.
Yeah. It's funny to even talk about that dynamic of me going down Lou House being at Lou House every night. She really thought that I was like taking her car and going to cheat. I couldn't even like fathom. Like I was terrified, bro, of what I did, bro. Like I don't think that I had sex for, like, to be real with you, for like a year and a half. Almost a year. I ain't gonna say a year and a half.
He is capping for this camera.
But almost a year, bro. I did not, like, I would deal with her, but
Like
I wasn't dealing with no
drinks?
other. So she was thinking that I was taking the car and going to go cheat. And I'm like, I'll come home every day and, like, I don't even want to argue about it. I don't even want to talk about it. I was at Lou House. That's it.
That's how
Deem
people
always hardline stances. Like Deem always hit you with this is what it is. I don't want to talk about it.
I'm not talking.
Deem always had me in a weird position. It's like, was he really down there? Y'all got a weird relationship. Why Deem only coming at 12 o'clock at night and leaving at 5 in the morning? I'm like, he basically live here. Don't make it seem like he coming down here for me.
Right.
Like, I just want you to speak about that dynamic. You talk about, like, one child mother being somebody you knew for years and high school sweetheart. Mm-hmm. You talking about making a baby within 5 months of meeting somebody else, and like what kind of strain that put on I guess the parenting situation.
Well, it was. I always, like, it might sound crazy because when I explain it to people, they be trying to fathom like what I'm talking about. But I already had in my mind that at some point or another that I was going to give Catrice a baby, just because of the person who I knew she was and her natural motherly instinct. So I even told her, like, and it might sound wild toxic, you dig what I'm saying, but I already told her, like, one of these days, whether I'm with you or not, we're going to have a baby together. I just had in my mind that I was going to have a baby with her, whether I'm with you or not. Like,
wild toxic. You hit it right in the head.
Wild toxic, you dig what I'm saying? But So it wasn't. It was more so around that time. It was more so the fact that I was having a baby that I didn't want. Like I just felt like it was forced upon me. But
Forced upon you, and you made the baby. Like imagine that being forced upon you.
we gonna get into it. We gonna.
Everything you got negotiation. Yo, listen, man. Listen.
Thank you, Dre.
Listen.
Thank you.
No lie. Chicks will tell you like they down to get rid of the kid, bro. Like while you in there, you know what I'm saying? Like just go ahead, like I'm gonna get rid of that joint, and then like that joint be in them. And then mine switch, cuz and it switch like I'm not really getting rid of this. Like that's a real thing, bro. That's not
a
fake.
Real thing. And to be real, for the sake of keeping it a bean, we don't have a choice in the matter. If it was planned, if it was unplanned, they have the final say so.
Just to be devil advocate.
Like,
and listening land, they probably why you ain't slip a Jimmy on.
We talked about this before.
We talk. I mean, can we keep it a bean on the pod? Like, are we about to really take it there? Like
we about to
because I be trying to be Pete. Like in my life nowadays, I try to be less controversial for you guys who know me in the audience who know me. I'm a very controversial guy, and I don't really I have a filter nowadays, but I try to be less like that. But if we keep it a bean, one was my girlfriend at the time, and one I already knew for about 7-8 years already. So, I mean, we can get into the health. We don't know what they doing, but that's just how we
listen.
And we get into we could get into the well, why would you finish? But that's a whole nother topic. That's what we do. You dig what I'm saying?
Listen, man. One thing feel like this, the other thing feel like that. That's self-explanatory, cuz it's night and day.
Dre, you trying to make us the dirty pod.
I'm not trying to make us nothing. I'm being honest.
Actually,
listen, if it's guys out here that's listening to this, they gonna know exactly what I'm talking about, cuz.
Oh, that's hilarious.
If it's chicks that's listening, they gonna know exactly what I'm talking about, cause they say the same thing.
It's cool. You talking about? You said one chick was your girl. You talking about familiarity?
You ain't never have a chick take the John off. Now we gonna act like that.
Yeah. Who gonna act like what?
You. I'm asking you.
No, I got kids. I understand. I done made children. You did.
I'm just asking. All right.
So, you know that I was with Tiffany. It was more rapid. Like I said, it was more wrapping my head around. Like again, like I don't know you. You get what I'm saying? On top of the fact that I don't want to have a baby, we don't know each other.
Then you also the boy that gotta like put somebody through the whole prove yourself.
Oh yeah, definitely around that time.
Yeah, you got. I need you to have 4.5 years in. I gotta basically make you crazy to do this.
Facts. I need to know if you down or not, especially around that time though.
Yeah, then you had we're not even about to incriminate my man with the wild stuff he used to be saying back in the day, cuz.
Facts with no,
like if I don't hurt you, I can't trust you. Like
I don't know if you down for me. That's my lie. Listen, I'm speaking on a 21, 22-year-old Kadeem around the time. Yeah. This doesn't reflect the man that I am today. The stuff
I like, Dean, I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. You owe me a check, bro.
What you mean?
I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. Like the bell I done shot you to women, like. You owe me a check for like the things I had to untangle you out of for a decade.
I know that it was like, first of all, I knew that you was my excuse for everything, but I knew it was weighing on you because one day, like 27, 28, my man just got fed up. Like
he just said
I am no longer being your excuse guy, your wingman to your bullshit.
Listen, you gotta think about it like this, bro. Like at some point, you doing whatever you doing, and I'm calling whoever you're dealing with to get you out of some mess. Mm-hmm. And then the chicks I would be dealing with would be like, oh, so you really like that. You his like, so if you do that for him, what would he do for you when I
was giving you bark going
not even that. That too.
Yeah.
But I always used to tell Lou like, yo, stop talking to girls that's associated to girls that know.
Stop trying to be my chick's friends.
No,
like.
Not even your chick's friends. Like talking to girls that be associated with girls that Kadeem deal with.
Sisters, cousins.
Right, because when Kadeem break their hearts, You gonna hear about
It's a
it.
rap. I'm messing up your whole situation once I do my thing. You know,
It's
I'ma
been
do my thing.
catastrophic.
I'd be like, yo, Mo, stop talking to girls that know Kadeem.
Now he mad at me. Now he mad at me because they cut him off the box and all that.
Yo,
Like,
I had to. Yo, it's been times, yo, like where it's like, all right, everybody in the severed ties, but I'm then double back to see Shorty, but I'm lying to my man. I'm lying. Yeah, I'm done with her, but we all done. We done with them sisters.
yeah.
And
Hey,
meanwhile, meanwhile, I'm looking out the block like he out here.
Hey,
Let me park this joint real quick.
talking
let me
crazy.
sneak her in the crib real quick for my man peek his head out the
Hey, Lou, when you start parking in the back,
Wow, dog. But, let's bring it back. So let's get into some of this child support conversation, man. Like what's your experience? When you was on child support before you had a job.
Oh yeah.
that's nuts.
I feel like I feel like
it was crazy. Let me break this down, man.
yeah, break that down.
So, I'm with Tiffany. You get what I'm saying. And to make it a long story less long, we've been back and forth throughout the whole pregnancy. Me leaving, coming back, leaving, coming back, leaving, coming back. But finally, this one thing happened. This is okay. So, around, I'm probably want to say when Ava was first born, when she was born, this was May 13th. Lou wound up giving me a job. Lou was working at Glen Mills. He wound up giving me a job. He wound up giving me an interview. So I was with Tiffany, and I actually used her car to go to the interview. Like, we were together. This might have been like a Friday, my interview.
Oh my God.
And we were together. Used my car. I used her car, go to the interview, got the job. Some crazy shit probably happened over the weekend where I was like, yo, I'm done. I think I started Monday of the next week. She was asking me like to come back.
Right.
And I'm like, no, like I'm finished. Like I'm done with the crazy, you threatening to run me into traffic type.
We don't ever talk about that as men. When Shorty run you in the traffic.
Right.
Like I'm done. Like I'm done being fearful of my life. You dig what I'm saying? So, and that was the next week. I want to say like Monday of the next week after I started, I had Mel from child support saying that I have a court date.
Cause they didn't even get a first paycheck yet.
Like, she threw me right on child support.
The minute she found it, y'all together. Let's paint the picture. Y'all together.
We was together for the interview.
And in 1 week time.
I told her I'm not coming back. Like I'm done, and threw me on child support.
So let's just forecast when she could have possibly went. She definitely went before you had the interview.
Like I've been trying to figure this out for years now. Like,
That's a
bro, you
fact.
didn't even give me a chance to be a deadbeat. Like, you didn't even give me a chance to make a choice to be a deadbeat dad. Like, I didn't even get a choice in the matter. It's just, I'm putting you on child. Like the next week, like Monday, I probably told her, no, I'm not coming back.
And you were served.
And I was served. Like, she went down there and served me. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God.
I got it the next week. I didn't even get a first paycheck.
That's what I'm like, yo, this is nuts. Cause when he was telling me this, I'm
And we-
like, yo,
and we
this
ain't
is
it-
crazy.
And my whole thing is, then we ain't make a whole bunch of money up there. So like,
Bro, we was making 30. I think when I started, I was making 30. I think by the time I left in 3 years, I was making 32. We wasn't making money. So after taxes, we making 24, plus the $600 a month that I was getting took out of my check.
So what your check look like? Give us an example of what one pay look like just getting hit with the child support.
All right, so I think every 2 weeks we was making probably like $845, and I was on child support for $615 a month, probably like $620. So $300 a month was coming out my check. I was getting checks back.
300 a week.
300
300
every 2
every
weeks.
pay period.
So you talking about every 2 weeks after working 80 hours, you was getting paid $500.
$500 a.
So how was you
every 2
living?
weeks.
Like how was you expected
Bro,
to live?
I bought a car before they threw me on child support. I wound up getting my first car. It was a 14 Maxima.
You
the
hit
payments was-
you
the
hit
payment-
everything in that car, by the way.
I didn't have it that long.
You know, cuz be smacking.
But
up.
only to get up to work. I only had enough money to pay my payment every month and and put gas in my car every week.
So if you had to have rent, you couldn't afford it. If you had to fill a refrigerator, you couldn't fill it.
No.
If you had to buy diapers and be a dad, you probably couldn't do it.
No. And I still was, every time they needed something,
Take
I
my
was giving
last.
them money. Yeah, take my last.
Mm.
So
Yeah, and they got 2 kids, not 1.
yeah, at the time I got 2. Aubrey and Ava is here, so I was still. Anytime they needed something, I was giving it to them. Like literally, I didn't have no money at the end. Like I was probably at $10 by the end of my 2 weeks every time. Like I didn't have no money by the end. I was living paycheck to paycheck.
Bro, you living below.
You living underpaid. Yeah,
You underpaid check to paycheck. That's
It
an
was crazy,
overstatement,
like,
bro. That's
negative,
crazy.
Like it been times like in that time when I was working at Glen Mills, because I was only on child support by Tiffany. It was times where, I was getting in them car accidents that you was talking about. I don't got enough for deductibles. I don't have enough to feed myself. Like you said, I got to borrow money for gas. And this was one of the reasons, like when I got that car, this was one of the reasons why Catrice tried to go for child support on me. Oh, you got a new car. Bro, I only have this car
to get to work.
That's the only reason why I got this car, because it's 45 minutes away.
You can't win, bro.
So, I
speak
ain't have no money. I ain't had no money around that time. I was very poor around that time, bro.
No, just speak about it. So you said that you got the new car and then Catrice put you on child support.
No, that was her. She was just
threatening
to put me on child support. Like, you got money. Like, I have money.
But
I don't have money.
There was a time when they both had you on child support.
Yeah, that's after I left Glen Mills. But prior, like I said, prior to that, I wasn't on child support for both. And Catrice's thing was, it wasn't fair that
one was getting support.
One was getting child support, like, right, and
she not getting none.
And she not getting none. But this my thing though. Again, I'm still seeing my daughters. You get what I'm saying? I'm still seeing my daughters, and I never told these 2 women no for anything. I might have had told them, I don't have it this week. Wait till I get paid. But they never asked me something for my daughters, and I told them no.
Right.
Mm.
So it wasn't really a real reason why I was on child support other than
because it's emotional, bro. It's
you get what I'm saying? It was just a tactic.
I end up on child support the same way, bro. Like it's just you'll never not be taking care of the kids. It just be like emotional. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I ain't banging with you today. Yeah. I'm going down to that court.
I got put on child support, man. I asked, I'm like, yo, why am I on this? Man, you played with me too many times. Like, what does that mean? Like, what does that mean?
Right.
And the system's so slanted that that's an uphill battle that you not gonna win.
Listen, when you go to child support, it's a numbers game. That's all it is. It's a numbers game about who make more money.
Right.
That's it.
And before we even get to who makes more, we are already, like, systematically, we already account for more financial responsibility than the mom. When they do their numbers and they figure out who, I think it's like a 52, 48.
Yeah, it depends on the income. That's what I'm saying. It still depends on, like, it could be even, or like it could just be like if you make like, well, not to jump ahead. Like you got split custody.
Right.
So like if she make more bread than you, then
I'm able to put them on, but it's only based upon custody.
Right, based upon custody. If you don't have no custody,
then it's that number that I'm talking about.
Right. Yeah.
We believe that the mom is going to be with. We believe that the mom is going to be. I mean, the baby's going to be with the mom more. So the dad's supposed to bear more of the financial
Yeah,
responsibility.
it'd be like 52, 48 at the lowest. And it can widen. Like if you make a lot more than her, like they'd move it to like 60, 40.
Right.
Split. Like it ain't 50-50. Because what it is, once they plug all the numbers in, they be like, oh, the kid is allotted, let's say $2,000 a month. Then they get the split. So like if it will never be 50-50, but it would be 52-48, they're gonna split out, be like 1,200, 800. But the 800 is already in her pocket. So they're not gonna say like, oh, you put 800 in the pot, he put 1,200 in the pot. No, they're just gonna take the 1,200 from you.
And
And that's how they split it.
And not to move off. You spoke about the system. The system is like kind of like, I don't like to bring the race card thing in, but the system, we talking about the system.
It is,
The system
yeah, it is.
The system
It
is
is.
geared, right? And it's almost incentivizes women for like that to happen. I don't know too many women who's going to say or turn down
money.
They're not.
And
You know what I'm saying?
Right, especially in like an emotional space.
They're not going to turn it down. They for one, they don't have to deal with having to work things out with the dad, with
Right.
me.
Right.
And then on top of that, you going to pay me for him not being here?
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know too many, like I said, I done been around amazing women in my lifetime. I don't know too many women. Most women is going to take that deal.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's even move away from child support. Let's talk about the assistance programs in the county.
The
in
government
Philly.
assistance and all that.
I forgot the name in Delaware. What is it for Delaware County?
What?
That when the dad not there, the mom get on.
Oh, it's the same. Just government assistance. It's the same thing.
I forgot the actual name for
welfare.
it. What's the county though? CCIS.
Oh, you talking about for daycare?
Oh, that's
Yeah,
daycare.
daycare and stuff like that. It almost incentivizes women to be like, for the man not to be there.
Yeah.
Because you
Yeah.
can't get it if I'm living in the house.
Yeah,
You can't get any of the
You can't get
things.
any of the government assistance if the guy's in
So
the house.
it incentivizes broken homes. So when I talk about the system, I don't really like because I'm pretty sure that all walks of life go through this if you're going through a custody battle or you're going through child support.
Yeah, like it's not white or black. It's definitely
But it's a systematic thing to remove a man.
Yeah, that
From a
part.
house.
Yeah, but that part. But is the custody stuff is definitely white and black.
the custody is.
Yes, it's definitely
Not
white
the
and
child support.
black. It's just numbers.
Okay.
It's hard. It's hard to turn numbers into color
Just-
because it's not discretion. Like I said, you'll watch a person plug the numbers in the computer. They're gonna come up with a number. This is what the number is. There's no like. It's not no.
So your number that you
consideration.
just because I haven't done it. When you have one kid on child support for one kid, another mom files for child support for another kid. Do they be like, all right, we're going to split that amount?
No, that's a whole.
That's
first
a
of all,
myth.
This is a whole. Yeah, that's a whole nother story. Well, when we talk about when I got on child support.
No. I'm talking about like, all right, say I'm on.
No, I know what you're talking about.
I'm on child support for $600 for one kid.
Yeah.
Another mom files. Do we just divide the 600 now, or no? She get her
No.
own 600.
Yeah,
No,
you know, 600.
she
Oh
get her
my-
own 600.
And it's, and especially in Deem case, not to cut you off, especially in Deem case because it's separate counties.
Whew.
So like he went in Delaware County for one, and he went in Philadelphia County for the other one. So when he even brought that up, it's like, oh, that's a different county. That's just what they said.
Because I brought it up.
I know he brought it up. Yeah. When he said like, yo, I'm already on child support for this amount of money. Oh, that's Philadelphia
You
County.
don't even worry about that's a whole. And that's a whole separate case.
Right.
It don't even matter if those both your biological.
So
kids.
how was you living then when it was two?
Okay, so like I said, when I said it was a whole different story. So with Catrice, when Catrice finally decided after a bunch of back and forth with we'll get there. But when she finally put me on, when she finally went to go put me on, she whole kind of sit down with me like, Kadeem, this is really getting like unbearable that I have to like ask you and I have to kind of wait when you don't have it and wait till you get paid and Tiffany get this guaranteed money every week. This is what she was saying to me. It's not fair that she get this guaranteed money every 2 weeks and I gotta ask you, and because you getting child support taken away from Tiffany, you sometimes Aubrey has to wait. It's not guaranteed. Her argument that it wasn't guaranteed and Tiffany's was guaranteed. So her argument was like, all right, so I'm going to go see about child support. And, you know, again, we were kind of almost like trying to figure things out around this time. This is when Aubrey was like, I want to say 3 or 4 weeks. You know, we going back to we you know, me and her is on a back and forth of dealing with each other. We back and forth.
Right.
So again, like she came to me with this argument, and I was like, Catrice, like, you know, I can't afford it. Basically, like, I can't afford it. I had a whole plan. Like, listen, I'm gonna go for custody, and I'm gonna of Ava, and then I'm gonna see if I can split it. Like, I'm gonna see if I can split, because I didn't know much about. I thought what you thought,
right?
That if
I'm already on it, I could just split the child support in half.
So, you know, I'm inquiring. Catrice's like, no, you know what? I'll go down there and talk to him and see if they can split it. And I'm like, the story sound weird. It was weird to me. I'm like, because now I'm questioning her, like, bro, what if they don't? Yeah.
Right.
Like, what if this plan of yours don't work?
Can we back out of it?
I'm like, no. I already knew that we wasn't going to be able to. If you go down there and put me on, I'm going to be on. If you're wrong, right. I'm going to be on. She like Kadeem. I'm gonna go find out. That was probably like, let's say this was like a Tuesday. Wednesday, she come back to me and was like, Kadeem, they said that you can split it. So I'm like, okay, lied. Right? So I'm like, okay. I'm like, all right, cool. Like, so she got me okay with that fact. I'm like, all right, cool. It's going to split now. You know, it be fair. She was arguing fairness, and I kind of agreed with her. It's not fair that sometimes you get, like, even though I was trying my hardest, I was doing what was in my means. And again, with the whole fact of me never telling her no, I did agree with her that it wasn't fair. So I was she kind of made me okay, and I trusted her because, again, we was together, and I loved her, and I thought I knew her at the time, that she wasn't lying to me. We get to the courthouse.
They ran numbers on you,
and we sit down. And everything cool. We sit down. We cool. It's almost like we together. You dig what I'm saying? We sit down.
Y'all not in front of the judge. Y'all in the back with the little pre-conference job.
Yeah. So
I've been in there.
Me and her busting it up and talking while she running the numbers. She say, ran your numbers and all that, and we credit you with having a kid already, so you don't even got to bring that up. That's how the lady was talking to me. You don't even got to bring up that you have a new kid. We already know. We already credit you for that.
And they get nutty too. Go ahead.
She was like, we ran the numbers and we came back with $552 a month in child support.
On top of the 6 you already got.
And when I tell you, my face dropped, bro. That smile that I had, my whole face was like this. And I turned and looked at Catrice, and she immediately started bawling, crying.
The lady left y'all in the joint?
No, she was right there. She started crying.
The lady ain't leave?
No, the lady didn't leave.
Yeah, no, they leave. They left us in the
She
joint.
started crying. That's when I knew that she knew I knew that she snaked me and lied to me. That's what I knew. I'm looking at her like, bro, this is crazy. You really lied to me? Okay, so at this point, this is in front of the lady.
That's why I cuz jaded.
Kadeem, I swear to you, this is what they told me. Blah, 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 blah. I'm not listening to it.
But she didn't drop it.
No. No, I was burnt at that point.
No, I know, but she's still having this conversation with you in there when she could have just been like, all right, it's cool, I don't want it.
No. Let me tell. Okay, so she went to go say, okay, I know this came out, this the number that came out, but I don't want that. She was like, listen, now that I ran these numbers, you can't take this back.
Oh no, the lady lied to you.
You see what I'm saying? So that speaks to what you talking about.
She cat.
You see what I'm?
They lined you, bro.
That speaks to
She
what I'm
can't.
talking about.
She can't.
That speaks to what you
because they
talking about.
gonna ask you to have the conversation. Like that's why I asked you, did he leave you in the room? First time me and I went, we had the pre-conference done. Every time we went back, it was in front of a judge. But we had the pre-conference, so like they back there, they run the numbers. So they was like, I think at the time I was giving her like $400 a month cash before we went down there. So they ran the numbers. It came back. It was like $600 a month. I'm like, I really can't pay no $600 a month. I really don't got that. I'm like, that's crazy. So mind you, I had like the paperwork for like 3 weeks. So for like the 3 weeks, Donnie was just like, I was giving her $100 a week, and I ain't giving no bread for 3 weeks ever since I got the paper. I'm not giving you no bread, like you taking me to court. So we get in there, it's $600. So I'm like, yeah, I don't got $600. I can't do that. So Donnie like, well, what you want? So the lady like, I'll leave. Y'all could talk about it. Y'all could discuss whatever y'all want to do. So she leave. So Donnie like, well, what you want to do? I'm like, I'm not paying. I don't got $600. So she like, so I'm like, all right, well, I'm already giving you 4. I'm like, well, let's go down to 5. I'm like, I could do 5. Let's go 5. And so she like, all right, well, what about the $300 that you ain't give me over the past 3 weeks? I'm like, what you mean? She like, listen, well, you can give me the $300 today, or I'm gonna tell these people $600. Swear to God.
Yo,
She's like, you give me the
bro?
$300 today, or I'm gonna give. So I'm like, so she made me like, they made me like sign a paper stating I was going, because I ain't had $300 cash. Like sign a paper like, yo, I'm gonna get a $300, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And then she agreed to the $500. And then I had to cash her out the $300 out the account.
Hey, bro,
to get the $500 a month.
that does not sound like some street shit. Like, does
Bill,
it not
listen,
sound like?
that
Does
was
it not sound like?
I swear
Like
to- yo, listen, on everything on my kids.
you had to
exactly
pay
how it
consignment, bro.
But look,
You got the
but-
bricks.
but
on the
listen, so
side.
I was trying to get the payment down. So, but that's why I'm saying to you, it wasn't nothing locked in. They could have negotiated whatever.
But I ain't want to cut you off. But that was in Philadelphia County. That had
No,
me.
I was in Delco.
Oh, all right,
We was
cool.
in the same county. You were with Catrice. It was in the same county.
Oh, damn.
She
just
played
had-
you.
Yeah, she had it out for me.
She had it out for you. The lady was.
No, they
lined
was
you.
in cahoots.
Yeah, her, the lady.
Because I looked at her and she started crying. So
Yeah.
the lady probably was in cahoots.
Yeah,
with
like
her.
no, she thought she was going to intimidate her, and y'all was going to get. She wasn't going to let you get out of here paying no bread.
She definitely stood there for more support. Like, girl, you better
Yeah,
keep
no,
that
they left us in
600.
this on everything. Like, I want to talk in private. She
She did
rolled.
not
No.
leave me. She told me that she couldn't take it back, and that it was going to be this now that she came.
I want to ask you, like, so when you was getting deducted for 2 kids, like, how would you live in then? Like, you don't hear about how men be struggling. You know what I mean? How was you living then?
So around that time, I left Glen Mills. I wasn't making $800 every 2 weeks. I went to Penn and I was making $12, but I was on child support for at one point $1,300 a month. So my 12, I was every 2 weeks. That's 3 and 2. I was getting $500 taken out my check every 2 weeks. So I was getting $700. It was almost like the same thing. Like it was almost as if I was making $500. Like it was almost as if I was working at Glen Mills.
So
I
you
was
got a
seeing
new job for
$500.
nothing.
Yeah, I got a new job for nothing.
Because it was absorbed in child support.
It was absorbed in child support. I was almost $600 was being taken out my check every 2 weeks, bro. It's as if so when I went to Penn, it was a 14 grand increase from where I was at.
Right.
I didn't see none of that 14 grand. It's almost as if I was making $30,000 a year again.
So my whole thing is this: you on child support for 2 kids. It's so bad, like you really can't even afford a car and to have your own place.
No.
But you got 2 kids.
Yeah.
So just talk a little bit about like how custody changed the dynamic for you and how things has improved since.
So my decision on going for custody, because at one point I remember even talking to you guys, like, or talk to my mom and my family around the time. It was like, Kadeem, because at one point or another, I was seeing Aubrey every 2 weeks. I was seeing Aubrey every week. It got to a point where for Ava, I wasn't seeing her.
Yeah.
She was keeping her away from me. You dig what I'm saying? Like I didn't see my daughter in almost 6 months. So, for years it was me always trying to avoid a custody battle. I know I talked to y'all both in depth of how I felt about it. Like I feel as though we are 3 grown adults.
All right.
We shouldn't have to
Bring
the government into our problems. Bring the city into our problem. We shouldn't have to have the system be like
No, mediator.
our mediator.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
For years it was me. Like I was doing everything that I possibly like. Bro, I didn't want to be with none of them.
You know,
I wasn't with none of them. I was going up. Before you go, I was going. I was for the sake of satisfying Tiffany. I was spending 3 nights at her house every week, just so she wouldn't be tripping.
Right, so you can see your kid.
Like I was, just so I can see my kid.
This is
I'm having sex with her when I don't want to. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm being forced to have sex just to see my kid, bro.
You're a sex slave.
I turned into I turned into a sex slave to see my kids, bro. You feel what I'm saying? On top of
to
that,
the next level.
on top of that, I was doing the same thing with Catrice. You get what I'm saying? So it was all cool. It was like,
It wasn't all cool, bro.
no, that wasn't cool. That me thinking that way or feeling that way wasn't cool. But I was kind of cool with the child support thing because it was like I'm seeing my kids. But once Tiffany started keeping her away from me, once I got tired of doing the 3 weeks having sex with her when I didn't
Hey, bro,
want to.
I just really want dads out here to know. Have more value yourself higher, King. Just value yourself,
Bro,
Don't
it speaks to the dads have to go through
I'm dying.
that most dads gotta go through. Like just for peace and to see my kids. Like that's what it's speaking to.
Oh my God.
But once I got tired of that, and once I value, and once I saw value in myself, bro, she started keeping her away. She like that's what happened. I don't want to say that was the reason, but
So once
consequently,
once you
that
withheld, it was
I wasn't seeing Ava no more. And once I came to the, I'm a very logical guy. I am now paying for a kid that I don't see.
right.
Once that became apparent,
You gotta go get custody.
on top of the fact that I'm paying $1,300 a month in child support. That made it. First of all, I can't afford it. Mm-hmm. I'm poor.
Right.
On top of that, I'm being forced by the government to provide a responsibility or to take care of responsibility that I already was doing.
Right.
It was like go for custody. So that's why I went. So
So once you guys got shared custody, the child support was split in half for both of them?
No. Once I got shared custody, okay, so once I went for custody with Tiffany, went in there, this is in Philly.
Right.
This is in Philly. I just gotta talk about that before we get there. Finally got the date, mind you, when she got the paper, she called me crying. You trying to take my daughter away from me? I'm like, Tiffany, I'm not. I want to see my daughter. Like, this is why we going. Like, I'm not even going for, I don't know what you think I'm going for. I'm only going for shared custody. That means 50-50 in Philadelphia. That's fit, or I'm probably in most states. That's 50-50 custody.
Shared joint and legal custody.
Yeah, that's what I was going for. I'm only going for what I'm entitled to.
Right.
Right.
That's your daughter and that's my daughter. You're the mom and I'm the dad. I'm only going for what I'm entitled to. I'm not trying to take nothing from you that I'm not entitled to. You dig what I'm saying? Right. She tried every tactic before we got there. Listen, if this is about child support, I'll take you off. I'm like, no, it's not about child support.
She just ain't want to give you no custody.
Yeah, she's like, I'll take you off. Like, if you want, just don't go to court. I'm like, no, that's not what it's about. I want to see my daughter. So finally we went in Philly. that day I was like nervous all day because I'm like, yo, what judge I'm going to get? I wound up getting an Italian guy, an Italian judge, a man. So already I walk in the court like, yes, you dig what I'm saying? like I'm already like, you feel me? That's one for me. You dig what I'm saying? So, I remember going in there and I'm like, he asked me my reason, and my reason for going was flat out, I just want to be a father to my child. I didn't go in there and saying she was doing this to me, she was doing that. I didn't go in there and start talking about anything mentally wrong with my daughter's mother. I went in there as like, I'm my reasoning for getting my child because I just want to be a father to my kid. I remember me keep repeating that. I would tell them I don't have a criminal background. I'm educated. I have a job. I just want to be a father to my child. That's it. So he go and he asks Tiffany her reason for not wanting to give me shared custody, and she was like, she came up with a bunch of like reasons. One being that my daughter never stayed the night over my house. Like that really was a real reason. And he asked her, all right, so if you don't want him to have shared custody, you don't want him to have your daughter for 7 days, how many days out of a month would you say that you would want him to see him? She was like, all right, well, listen, I'm for him, seeing his daughter and all. But she was like, she was like, I want him to get her bi-weekly on the weekends.
So that
every other weekend.
So that'll be 4 days a month.
That's what the judge said. So the judge said, okay, so let me get this right. You want him to be in your daughter's life, but you only want him to see her 4 days out of a month.
Of 30 days.
Immediately, he was like,
that ain't happening.
First of all, that don't even make sense. We're just going to do it like this is exactly what he said. He's like, that don't even make sense. We're just going to do it like this. He gets 7 days and you get 7 days. So he shut the whole thing down. We're just going to give him shared custody. Like after she said that dumb we just going to give him shared custody. She immediately start bawling. Oh my God, F this.
She about to curse judge out.
About to curse the judge out. That's not fair. That's not right. He want to come in her life now. All of a sudden, after 3 years, the whole time I've been in her life, the whole time. We only here because you
keeping her from me.
You know what I'm saying? Like, why are you like? But that was the whole thing. He wound up granting me custody. But to answer your question, a long story less long. It took me, when you go for shared custody and you get it, it takes you completely off child support. It takes you off of it completely.
That's fire.
So, that my daughter was 4. I remember the day when I got it. I was with my girlfriend at the time, and I was in tears when I left the courtroom. I was in tears not only for the fact that I was off of 600 out of my 13, and I could breathe again a little bit. I was able to see my daughter. Like I was staying up nights, like crying over this fact, and I finally realized that I don't even really even have to argue, do none of the stuff that I was doing, being a sex slave, having to deal with her bullshit, having to argue. So it, to answer your question, it took me completely off of child support at the time. Like,
true that.
No, we running kind of crazy on time, man. We want to play some documented quality time before we get out of here. You got Dre said he got a question, my bad.
I don't. The thing.
Oh, all right.
Have the shit stuff. You got it.
We gonna go.
Before we start playing this game, though, let me end with this. I am for. I know here at More Than a Dad podcast, I know we here for keeping families together, but when you can't figure it out no more,
go.
When you can't figure it out no more, I'm for us getting shared custody of our kids.
No, I feel that.
I'm not for us having to let the government or women control when we see or how much we financially provide for our kids. I remember one of your old guests saying that
He understood why people backed out, or
not even understood why back. He was speaking to him like his reason that like he thought that it was he should have been on child support.
Right.
And it took him for being on it and going through it to understand like where he was falling short at. Like, and I just don't agree with like child support and keeping kids using a kid as a pawn or using that as a weapon. I'm not for that. I'm really not.
Right.
I'm really for us getting our kids and not like, I know it's like, I'm not, trying to shoot down anybody methodology. I know it's probably easier to pay than to deal with the back and forth, but it's not as hard as what you think going to get custody for your kids, and you are in control of the narrative. And once you get custody for your kids, you're in control of your own narrative. You don't have to let the mom tell the side of the story. I know you know with getting your kids come with a certain type of responsibility and time, which we always are fighting to get, but it's worth it. It's worth creating your own narrative, having your kids at the end of the day, and not having to deal with the government forcing you to take care of responsibility that you more times than not you already want to do anyway. You already are doing. Child support is for the deadbeats. What I mean by deadbeats, who don't want to do nothing and are not doing anything. Not for a man who is trying or probably don't have as much to give. If he's trying, then it's not a deadbeat dad.
right.
He's getting his kids. It's not a deadbeat dad. Probably if he don't get them, let's say, out of a week, he get them 2-3 times and 2-3 times a week. That's you still getting your kids. Even if you're seeing your kid one time, you're still seeing your kids. For the guys, excuse me, bro. It's for the guys who are not doing nothing. That's what child support is. You don't want to take care of your responsibility. You don't want to see a kid. You don't want to financially provide. Then now I have to force the government to make you pay to do to take care of your responsibilities. Not for a guy who's trying. So cut it, leave it like that.
More than that. More than that.